Welcome to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for this session on Elevate Your Chemical Management Strategy, How to Unlock ZDHC InCheck Insights with Leadership in Sustainability and CleanChain. So we are thrilled to have all of you with us here today as we dive into a transformative potential of ZDHC InCheck, which is a powerful tool to drive safer chemistry and sustainable practices across your supply chain. So, in today's session, we will walk you through everything from the basics of ZDHC InCheck, its technical requirements, verification process, and to how our partnership with CleanChain brings you added value and support. We'll also cover the local resources available to help you on this journey. We encourage you to actively participate and ask questions and take away insights that will help you to elevate your chemical management strategy. So, with that said, let's get started. So, the speakers for the session today will be myself, Ramya Kandiyur. I'm a sustainability director with Leadership and Sustainability based in India. And we have been actively working on sustainability improvements for the supply chain. I have a total experience of more than 25 years in the textile apparel supply chain industry. I'm a ZDHC Academy steering committee member, and I'm also a ZDHC trainer. And with me today, I'm very pleased to have also Vishal. And over to you, Vishal, to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramya and Leadership and Sustainability team for inviting me here to the joint webinar. Um, I'm basically going to be looking at from the CleanChain side how we support companies in different parts of the world, whether it's a brand, suppliers, with regards to their ZDHC requirements. So I come from a social compliance background, and with CleanChain, I mainly support our partners, suppliers, and brand to look at the requirements that are coming in. And particularly today's session, we're going to cover in depth about the InCheck requirement, how you can get that actually on the CleanChain. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. So let's have a look at what we have on the agenda for today. We have initially a section on welcome and introductions, what we just had. We will take an overview of the ZDHC InCheck. We will look at the technical requirements, the verification, also the leadership and sustainability and CleanChain partnership that we have entered into, and the benefits that you as a supplier are going to take away because of this partnership is something that we would really like to emphasize on. And of course, we will also be talking about the local support and the resources that we have available. We have some time for question and answers, and we welcome everyone to be sending us questions so that we can have a very healthy discussion after the session. So we won't take too much time over the slides. We would like to encourage a good question and answer session so that all of the doubts are clarified prior to the closing that we will have. So with that said, let's take a quick look at our respective organizations. About leadership and sustainability, we basically help companies to become sustainability leaders in their respective industries. So whether you're looking to take the first step towards improving your sustainability, or if you would like to expand your existing efforts, our team of experts will be in a position to help you with all of your sustainability targets, with your goals, with strategizing how you would be able to improve in the most effective manner. So that's where our services come into the picture. We offer supply chain related services as well as strategy services. And talking about supply chain services, these are the host of services that we offer. We are basically environmental and social auditors in the market. So some of the audits that we undertake are the social audits like SLCP and the FSLM. We also undertake environmental audits. We are very closely connected with Cascale and offer all of the Cascale service offerings that are there in the market. We are conducting HIG FEM verifications, FDM verifications. Apart from that, also the MCAP and the C2C assessments that a supplier may want to undertake in the markets. So these are some of the environmental offers that we have. On the chemical management front, we have been partnering with ZDHC since almost 2017. We have been one of the first service providers for ZDHC and have had a very close association with ZDHC. We have offered in the markets the InCheck services and also the supplier to zero reviews that we undertake for the organizations. And we are very, very pleased to also offer the partnership with CleanChain because we feel that together with CleanChain, we offer a very comprehensive package to the suppliers, which they will be able to partner and improve their practices in chemical management. On the supply chain management front, we also had or have audit evaluations. We create supplier scorecards. We create supply chain strategies and also supplier handbooks are some of the things that we work on. We have a global presence of trainers and verifiers in different markets. So in Bangladesh, Bulgaria, Cambodia, China, Egypt, Germany, India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Portugal, Romania, Tunisia, Turkey, and Vietnam. And all our verifiers, whoever are in the market, are approved to be conducting these verifications globally. So we do travel also to different countries as required. So if your country is not mentioned here, please do feel free to still approach us. We will be in a position to help you, and we will do it in the most effective manner as possible. Coming to the collaborative services that we offer together with CleanChain, we are very pleased to say that this partnership we feel is something that will be very valuable for a supplier, especially in the front of transparency. End of the day, the chemical inventory is one very important factor which a supplier would require to share into the supply chain so as to showcase his transparency. And the InCheck is exactly a tool which with the help of which he will be able to very successfully communicate this across his entire stakeholder network. And it is this tool that we together are planning to promote with the suppliers with CleanChain. So CleanChain is an approved solution provider for performance InCheck generation. You require a tool for the InCheck generation, and CleanChain is actually a part of EDEC Innovations, and they are the partner who have helped to bring in the gateway for ZDHC. So they are a very strong partner, and they have a number of information which, as a supplier, you would also be having access to. So having said that, I hand this over to Vishal so that he can introduce the CleanChain platform to all of you suppliers.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramaya. Could we just look at in terms of the audience and see, just brew a quick poll to see how many are currently looking at the InCheck as well. So that will help me in terms
Sure.
of how much time I'm going to spend on the slide, particular slide, perhaps.
Yes. Uh, so you should be able to see the poll on your screen. Could you confirm if you can see it?
Yeah, I have for me, I believe that would be same for all the audience.
Yes, yes.
Yes, if we can just request to take a moment to answer whether are you planning currently or are you in a planning to look at the your clean inventories for ZDHC InCheck, already doing it perhaps, and also to gauge whether you are using CleanChain for your ZDHC InCheck requirements. And I think there's also the third question you did put in as well is around verified InCheck. So it's still a new, I think, and that you will cover quite a lot from my on this one, as in whether you
Yes,
plan to undertake verified InCheck this year, yes, in next 3 months, 6 months, or it's not something your brands have requested so far. So let's give a moment probably to answer these questions.
in terms of question number one, are you planning to report your chemical inventory via ZDHC InCheck? Um, So we have 40% who says not in the near future, 27% who say in 3 months' time, and 33% who say in 6 months' time. So a good amount of the audience would be looking at an InCheck report in the next few months from what is reported. Coming to the second question, do you use CleanChain to report the ZDHC InCheck? So 29% say a yes, 46% say not presently, and another 25% say that we use another tool but are open to checking the benefits of CleanChain, which is great. So you're at the right place. Thank you. And the third question, do you plan to undertake a ZDHC InCheck verification this year? So we can see yes is 16%. In 6 months' time is another 27%. And not yet requested by the brands is almost 58%. Okay, great, great. So uh, we have a good understanding of the poll. And over to you, Vishal, over to you um, to introduce us to the tool and give us these insights.
Thank you. That's definitely a mixed result. Some of you already familiar with the CleanChain, welcome. Some of you who don't, I'll cover some top level details as well. With regards to hopefully you can see my slides. To get started with the CleanChain, some of you, as I said, you might be already familiar with the platform. So CleanChain stands proudly as one of the trusted solution provider for ZDHC InCheck. Here is the glimpse of some of the brands we closely work with, brands nominators. Some of these may already be your customers. So currently, when we look at the number of companies or suppliers or factories using us, we've got over 2,200 suppliers that we support from our regional teams that offer 24 by 5 support, and we support in various languages as well. On a side, we also have, in terms of the chemical formulation, so the products on the platform, we've got 150,000 plus those formulations. And the important one, last one actually, behind CleanChains as a brand, ADEC Innovation. So CleanChain is part of ADEC, and the company ADEC Innovation has built the ZDHC gateway and continues to maintain it as well. So you will see those who are using CleanChain, you will see the similarities between the ZDHC gateway and the CleanChain. I'm going back to just one step behind here with the basics, really, as this session is covering what is really the ZDHC roadmap to zero. So those who are already doing it, you probably will know already. So it's really the three areas we're going to look at: the input, the process, and the output. So today's session, we will cover the input elements, really around the MRSL, understanding the MRSL as well, the InCheck report for your chemical inventories. And then in terms of the processes, Ramaya will touch some areas, and then the output if you're already doing the wastewater reporting, for example. So, and then implementing those continuous improvements. When we look at the ZDHC as a whole, how does the ZDHC really support chemical sustainability? So we see in the poll, a number of you mentioned, okay, there isn't a plan yet, but the ZDHC supports the chemical sustainability in a different form. So the first thing is the standardization. So ZDHC MRSL, if you are using certain products, whether they are MRSL level 1, 2, or 3, there are 3 different levels. That will again give that confidence. The next stage is within that is InCheck, to showcase you are using those products and doesn't contain any restricted ingredients as per the MRSL. And to that again the wastewater and the CleanChain. So that's a standardization done by ZDHC. When we look at the next element is the transparency. It's really enabling that visibility of the supply chain to brands, to companies who wants to look at their lower tiers, for example, the wet processing factories, the dyeing houses. And then the whole innovation, it's promoting the safer chemical alternatives as well. So some of you may know, or if you don't, in the ZDHC MRSL guidance, they do provide the safer alternative options as well. If the CAS number is listed in the restricted ingredients, you can look at what are the alternative CAS numbers, so what are the alternative substances are out there. Collaboration wise, and this is again you joining here is and the brands and suppliers uniting together with the chemical suppliers or chemical formulators. So this is really how ZDHC is driving the chemical sustainability. And when we look at how does it really building that chemical sustainability in textiles or apparels. When we look at this pyramid here, so at the top, obviously, first thing comes to mind is the global market access and the trust with the brands you work with. Because brands expect compliance with the ZDS MRSL and the safer chemistry. Then we look at the next actually is around the digital transparency, and that's where CleanChain comes in to track the chemical usage, whether you have chemical consumption, you are doing the stock take or getting the delivery of the chemical, checking the compliance of that and sharing that data easily with any brands that actually request. So you can share that via CleanChain. And then you look at the continuous improvement area. So it really helps you to strengthen your system and phase in for safer alternative with the ZDHC CMS guide and the chemical management systems guide. Um, and then at the foundation, obviously, or we look at here is the environmental protection. That's what we trying to aim for is look at the also preventing the water pollution, protecting the ecosystem. So each layer supports the next actually, and that's what actually drives the real and the lasting change in this industry. So when we often talk about the suppliers, they generally share their pain points and what we know some of the common challenges you as a supplier face, for example, is roadmap to zero requirements. Because it sometimes can feel complex, overwhelming, especially for suppliers who are new to the program. The other one comes in, multiple buyers are asking me, oh, I need to get this serious in-check report, I need to do this testing, and meeting the different standards can add that pressure. Keeping up to date with this request, it requires a lot of coordination and manpower at the same time. Then if we look at how can I complete the chemical inventory or the input list template accurately, is there another area we notice where suppliers often face difficulties and ensuring the details are correct, which requires careful attention as well. And when they look at, okay, that's done, but what about the inventory technical report? Because that's another challenge. Many suppliers struggle with accessing the right information, understanding what is really required. And once they do that, okay, how can I identify the hazardous products or the substances there? It's a critical part, can be difficult, but with the right tools such as CleanChain helps companies to actually do that. And the other one, which we commonly get again asked as well, is the internal code from brands. Don't always match the suppliers face a challenge with the product name used by the chemical suppliers, and that leads to confusion and delays in the whole process. And finally, knowing how to find the safer alternative chemicals is a key, but the options can sometimes feel unclear or hard to implement. So these are the real pain points suppliers face. And what we really offer to companies, or the CleanChain serves as a unique platform for the wet processors, offering the range of features to simplify this whole chemical management and ensuring the compliance. So what we have is the platform unique integration with the gateway. So there's a real time data exchange between the ZDHC gateway to know the compliance of the particular product or to access the products which are there. So that's a centralized data management. And the second one is around the utilization of the ZDHC PID, which is known as the product ID. So each ZDHC MRSL, let's say level product, will have a product ID in the ZDHC gateway. So that unique match helps you to track that process. And the challenge around completing the CIL template. So the template we provide to companies is the simplest template actually there, which only needs to capture about your chemical product, who the chemical supplier or the formulator is, and your quantity in kilos, lbs, for example, so or tons. You can put that quantity in. So that's basically you need, and you can add the PID numbers as well. So first time we recommend the PID number, that's a compulsory, but once you get started, you can just copy the previous month's inventory and the numbers gets, or the data gets copied over. The what we do as well in terms of the support is the timely generation of the InCheck report. Because the moment you will actually read in the data, you're happy with that, you click on save and complete, the InCheck reports get generated that instantly. So you don't have to wait for hours or days to get that InCheck report. It's available. And what we looked at in terms of the identifying those conformant chemicals, we support multiple language safety data sheets. So if you have a safety data sheet in Bangla, for example, or in Chinese, Turkish, Spanish, you can upload that. System will detect the CAS numbers and give you that data. And it's not only looking at one particular standard, but we do have various regulations and standard support. So if someone is looking at the VOC, volatile organic compounds, or screen chemistry, so it's actually provided to companies as well. There are various dashboards where you can gather this information, and the technical report to review the product conformance, identify the non-compliant chemicals or the formulations. And also system will proactively identify restricted products, helping yourselves to maintain the compliance and promote the sustainable practices. So this really is a comprehensive sort of solution to companies to effectively manage chemicals and enhance that transparency. Let's look at quickly in the action what that process is, because we get normally asked, okay, fine, but how long does it take for me to do this? So it's just a graphics really how you get started. If you have already, that's great, but if you don't, you just go to cleanchain.com, register yourself, and register instantly in a few minutes there. Then you look at purchasing the subscription. You connect, if you already have a ZDHC gateway account, you connect that with the CleanChain. If you don't, then we can give you the steps to get that done as well. So we can tell you the steps what ZDHC gateway you need to do, or contact who to contact as well. Then once you've done that, it's uploading your chemical inventory. And the moment you upload, you can get the InCheck report, and straight away system will identify chemicals which may be non-conformant as per the ZDHC MRSL. And you can get that information on the screen itself before even you generate the InCheck report. You will know the chemicals you will identify. But in terms of whether it's a conformant or not, that will be on the dashboard after you generate that InCheck report. And you can download the technical report for additional details or to support your brand's requirements. Sometimes we refer this as a brand technical report. So some of the brands have this requirement for technical reports. So you can download that and share with the brands. And we have various dashboards and scorecards, which then helps companies to really um, match to the diverse needs they might have from one or the multiple brands. And at the same time, once that is done, it is not necessarily the last stage, but you can decide at the first or the last stage, you can decide to share that data via CleanChain to other brands. So you can connect a brand on the CleanChain and they will able to see your data automatically via platform. So just as some updates, actually, what's happening in terms of the CleanChain side. So obviously, in terms of partnerships, so we are providing end-to-end services via partners, and that's where we having this session today with leadership and sustainability. So we support companies in different parts of the world with regards to their ZDHC requirements via the end-to-end services technical report, which I mentioned. So we have released the updated version companies can look at as well. And then with regards to the MSDS or the STS, Safety Data Sheet, Tool, Transparency, Multilingual data, actually the PDF files, as long as that's compliant with the GSS, for example, can be uploaded and the various dashboards. So you can see here number of regulations or number of requirements that you may have from various brands, etc. You can look at this dashboard. So you have SVSCs, for example, ZDSCs, good or bad solvents guidance. And then the other challenge to address or to support suppliers really with regards to brand CIL for brand audits, for example, or the ZDHC CIL template, which you probably, if you are already in that process, you might be doing it, but there's a lot of data point. What CleanChain does, you can extract that data once you upload the STS to require for your verified InCheck or to ZDHC CIL for or brand specific audits as well. And then looking at the next slide is really around, okay, suppliers ask this question generally, what does really brands require if we are doing the ZDHC InCheck, for example, or we are in the ZDHC program? So we often get asked this from a supplier, what are these key requirements from European buyers from the United States, UK, or different countries? So the first one is if a brand has adopted the ZDHC program, then they expect all suppliers to use chemicals that are certified under the ZDHC MRSL. And this really ensures the harmful substances are eliminated from the whole production process. The next one is around all chemicals in use needs to be properly documented, uploaded to a centralized inventory system, whether it's a CleanChain or a view internal system, because that's crucial for tracking transparency. And then the next one is around by the 7th of every month. This varies brand per brand. Between 7 to 15 really is brands wants you to generate your InCheck report monthly, whether it's a usage, that's a consumption of chemicals you have in the previous month, or the delivery, the chemicals which you got delivered to your facility, for example, or the stock takes. There are some brands which do need stock take as well. And this regular updates helps to maintain the accurate records. And you probably will know this already if you're doing regular InCheck reports. Suppliers are expected to show ongoing improvements in their product compliance with the standards. So brand really value that clear upward trend in the performance. So if you already have InCheck report and your conformance is 80%, for example, then they expect you to improve that to 82 to 90 upwards wise. Finally, with regards to the wastewater testing. So brand does again require and ensure that this is with the ZDHC is compliant. Some brands might ask you different requirements, but that really ensures in terms of the you are following the ZDHC program. And this really the guidance what I have given here it applies to ZDHC program brands. Some may have different requirements from these as well. So coming to the technical report now, and I won't take that long now. I'll pass it back to you, Maya. But technical report, this is just a snapshot how the technical report looks like. So it now features the updated graphics, clearer definition for easier interpretation. And if you're a CleanChain supplier, that's already included in your subscription. There is an additional subscription as such. If we just look at sort of granular details here, what you see on the screen is you can see the number of products with different levels along with the screen chemistry, so transparent chemical, for example. And what you get actually further down is your compliance score for products. So here, what you see now, if you have, take an example, 100 products in your inventory, 90 of them are ZDHC MRSL level 1 to 3, 10 are not. If you upload the safe data sheet for those chemicals, you will get an MRSL compliance score because the system will scan that SDS against the ZDHC MRSL to find out any restricted ingredients. So you will get the MRSL compliance score, and that's what brands value as well. Commodity chemicals will automatically be removed because they're not part of InCheck report. Brands do actually require commodity chemicals to be uploaded. System detects that, so do not worry if that's you are uploading that, because that will be removed from the InCheck report. And non-production chemical, because they are actually in the scope of MRSL. So non-production chemicals such as oil, grease, machine lubricants, etc. So if you're using those and if you're uploading that, you just need to make sure you toggle the box as a non-production chemical. That's on the CleanChain platform though, and it will remove that chemical. So you don't necessarily get penalized for uploading that if that's not necessarily in the MRSL. And if there is any chemical in particular it has, then you will see, for example, that highlighted as well. And that's really all from my side. So thank you, Leadership and System team, for giving me time to explain the steps through. And I hope I have provided valuable insights and a clear understanding, the top level really for CleanChain platform. And we will look at more Q&A towards then as well. So over to you, Ramaya. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Vishal. That was very insightful. So over to the overview of ZDHC InCheck. So even from Vishal's slides, you were able to see what ZDHC is all about. They have very categorically segregated the chemicals into input chemicals, process chemicals, and output chemicals. And they have made standards or requirements for each criteria. So for the input criteria, you have your ZDHC MRSL. For your process chemicals, you are expected to maintain your chemical inventory according to a foundational template at the very minimum. That is the requirement that most of the brands first come up with, and they request from their supply chain. And in the output chemicals, it is the type of outputs that the facility is generating. So this could be your waste, this could be your wastewater, your air emissions, etc. So ZDHC has now also brought out the ZDHC air emissions guideline. They have a wastewater guideline. It is currently in the version 2.2, and they have indicated what are the criteria that a facility is expected to maintain depending on the type of discharge that they are having. So all of the ZDHC parameters are covered with these criteria that is looked into. But our focus for today would be the chemical inventory. And in the chemical inventory, in order to have transparency for the entire supply chain, it becomes important that you are communicating with your stakeholders your chemical inventory to showcase that there are no hazardous chemicals in your chemical inventory. And in order to understand that, one of the most fundamental details that we need to understand is the MRSL conformance level. So, like I mentioned, in the input chemistry, you have the MRSL conformance, and the MRSL conformance can be in three levels. In your level one, it is basically the analytical testing of the actual chemical that is placed in the market, which helps you to ensure, or which helps you to understand if it is a level one conformant chemical. In your level two, apart from just the analytical testing and the reports from the actual chemical, there is also an on-site assessment of the management systems of the formulator that is undertaken. So if both of them are undertaken, then and they have a pass, then they are allowed to publish that particular chemical at an MRSL level 2 as an MRSL level 2 chemical. And apart from both the management system and the technical documents and the results, test results, etc., that a formulator has made, if he has already a chemical hazard assessment capability where he is doing this hazard assessment at his own facility, then he is allowed to publish that particular chemical at level 3. So this is the understanding with which the formulator is able to publish his product in the chemical gateway as a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3 product. And this is exactly what a supplier screens for when he is searching for a chemical which he would like to purchase from the chemical inventory or from the gateway, basically. So he wants to understand at what level is his specific chemical and whether it is feasible for him to purchase this specific chemical or not. And in your performance in check, we talk about the performance in check. So basically, your performance in check is nothing but your chemical inventory for that particular month of operation. And this performance in check gives you a detail of how many products are totally uploaded and what percentage of that products conform to the MRSL level. This is the insight that we will get uh, from the inventory report that we will review um, from the tool that we have partnered with for the performance in check. And apart from this, you will also have the performance in check to understand the status of the chemical products in the supplier's chemical inventory for registration on the chemical module, and how much percentage is certified to level 1, how much percentage is certified to level 2, and how much is certified to level 3. So the topic of this session is how do you elevate your chemical management strategy? And one of the key points to elevate your strategy is to plan an improvement. So you can plan an improvement and say, yes, I'm going to take my chemical inventory from a conformance level of 70% at level 2 to maybe 90% at level 2 by the end of this particular year. So that is a strategy, or that is a plan that you can implement in your facility to improve your chemical management. Similarly, we also need to understand applicability, because we need to understand whether the MRSL is in scope for the type of industry that you have or not. And if you look at the applicability, for most of the dyeing and printing facilities that are there, the MRSL is definitely in scope. But if you are maybe a fiber manufacturer, etc., then you might be out of scope, and you will have to actually check your feasibility for MRSL compliances. So that's basically on the InCheck, on what we need to understand on the performance InCheck. Let's talk a bit about the technical requirements. So when we talk about technical requirements for InCheck, we have to understand three important documents which ZDHC has published with respect to the InCheck. The very first one is the ZDHC InCheck solutions. This was published in July 2022. This explains the objective of the InCheck, the frameworks around the concept, and the verifications that are possible both at level 1 and level 2. So this is one of the first um, uh, documents which came out, which talked about what is the expectation with the InCheck and how do we maintain it. So this is an important document which we are expected to be aware of. The second one um, is the performance InCheck guidelines. So this standardizes the requirement for the generation of a performance InCheck by the facility, and it helps you to reference the listing of the chemical products in the chemical gateway database and according to the MRSL conformance levels that they are achieving. So this document is again a document that the facility should understand to publish the type of chemicals that are required to be transparently communicated to the stakeholders in the performance InCheck that you will publish. The third document is the ZDHC verified InCheck. This gives the process that is followed for the verification of the InCheck inventory or the InCheck report that a facility will actually generate. So, of course, it is great that somebody is doing a self declaration and they are indicating the type of chemical inventory that is possible. But having a verification is an added advantage because it will help you to understand if whatever you have uploaded is appropriate and if there are any corrections to be made to the inventory that you are currently declaring. With that said, let's take a deep dive into also the verification that happens. So you have your performance InCheck report. So this is your chemical inventory. It is self-reported by the suppliers. It enables the suppliers to monitor the chemical inventory in conformance with the ZDHC MRSL. You have the verified InCheck. This gives credibility for the inventory that is being uploaded, and you can talk about it to your entire stakeholders. Suppose you are reporting to 7 different brands. All of them would in principle accept the performance InCheck reports as details that they are able to store in their records of the kind of inventory that you as a supplier to them are maintaining. And it establishes also transparency through due diligence checks that are done. So verifications currently are happening only at level 1. These are only spot checks. The verifications at level 2 is a more comprehensive check of the entire performance inventory that the supplier is actually maintaining. This is currently under development and is not yet rolled out by ZDHC. So all the verifications which happen at level 1, which are basically spot checks that are done by a third party to understand if the chemical inventory is appropriate or not. So coming to the methodology and the criteria for verification, there are 2 types of criteria. The type 1 process, which is applicable to a facility if they have less than 30 chemicals in their chemical inventory in all of the 3 months of reports that they have maintained. So the necessity or the criteria for a facility to be eligible for a verification is that they have maintained the inventory at least for 3 months. So you should be able to have 3 InCheck reports which you share with the verifying body. And based on this, they would give you an estimate and give you a quote for the verification to be happening. In the type 2 process, it is applicable when you have more than 30 products in your chemical inventory. And even if one of the performance in checks that you generate has more than 30 chemicals, you will still go in for a type 2 process. And the pass criteria here is that you get more than 80% in your review. And this is the maximum deviation that is permitted when you're doing a in-check verification. So uh, overall, 80% of whatever is your chemicals should be definitely be reported into the performance in check. So let's take a little more deeper dive into what we need to understand for the verification. So in the type 1 process, you have less than 30 chemicals. There is just one checkpoint which happens if it is less than 30 chemicals. And this is at the main store or the sub store where you are actually storing all of your chemicals. And the success uh, is when you have greater than 80% success rate in whatever you are checking. And in a type 2 process, the facilities with more than 30 chemicals will be taken to the type 2 process. And here there are 5 checkpoints. So 10 chemicals will be checked from the main store, 5 from the factory walkthrough that the verifier will do, 5 from the chemical names from purchase ordering, 5 from the job cards in the production department, and 5 from the chemical inventory record. So basically, there is an on-site app which is available, and it is from the app that all of these selections will be undertaken and reviewed by the verifier. So here again, the criteria for a pass is basically more than 80%, and you will definitely have a pass in your chemical inventory verification. Coming to the check parameters, this is all of the chemical products in the inventory. So you have to have three consecutive chemical in check reports that you are able to showcase to the verification body. And here this is from either the main or the sub-store, and the documents are to be shared with the verification body. This is the source of confirmation, and again, this is from the on-site app. So here the points is such that one chemical will give you 1 point. So if you see the chemical, you will definitely have that 1 point. And the implication here is the fact that in your on the gateway, you will see your supplier name with a green tick. This shows that there is a verification that has happened. In this particular case, there is no verification in the first one, in the first image that you see. In the second one, here you can see there is a green tick to say that this is a verified supplier, inventory verified supplier. And that is one of the criteria that the brands are looking at when they are looking at suppliers. So let's take a quick look also at the partnership with CleanChain. So having maintained the inventory, chemical management inventory, the suppliers are able to upload all of their chemical inventory into CleanChain. CleanChain will connect to the ZDHC gateway. It will allow for a seamless access to the chemical module. And also you will be able to get a lot of information from products which are already available on the platform, because CleanChain or rather the ADEC platform is the platform where all of the formulators are also reporting their chemicals for conformance for MRSL, and hence you would be able to utilize this information even when you are connecting for your InCheck publishing. And in terms of performance monitoring, CleanChain offers tools to track the chemical usage. So from the safety data sheet, you will have the information of what are the hazards, what's the CAS number, for example, and various other smaller details which you might have had to fill in manually in certain other tools. So that is the advantage that you as a supplier will have. And in terms of services, we are currently giving 3 different services for the suppliers. One is ZDHC trainings, which happen on a regular basis. One is InCheck verifications. And the third is the supplier to zero level 2 and 3 certifications, which happen in the market. And here you can see the experts who are available in the industry for carrying out the verifications and for supporting the suppliers in different markets. And you can see here in India, the experts who are available. There are 3 experts who are available and their locations. And this is our entire team. And with that, I come to the end of our session, and I'm happy to open this up uh, for um, question and answers.
Yes, we already received some questions in the Q&A box. So the first question is for you, Ramya. It is, could you please share the cost estimate and specify the number of dates it covers? So for an InCheck verification.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So in terms of costs, this will vary depending on the market that you are. And my suggestion would be that you write to the local team that is available so that they can give you a cost estimate. So the way we work is we have a booking form, and we request initially for certain details to understand the type of background or the number of chemicals that you have, so that we can classify your verification as a level 1 or a level 2. And on that basis, we give you a quotation. So generally, it is a one-man day that we calculate for a verification that happens at any location. And depending on your location and on the verifier travel, etc., we will give you an estimate for that specific location. I hope that I know it is not an exact answer, but that's how we generally arrive at it, and you would get an idea based on, where your verifiers are located.
Yes, thank you. Then the next question would be, does the InCheck tool require a one-time purchase, or does it need to be renewed periodically?
Thank you. I think I'll take that one. So that's a great
Yes.
question. So if you're already on the ZDHC gateway for InCheck report generation, you will need to register with the solution provider. So that's a CleanChain if you're registering. InCheck report generally is every month. Brand will recommend you, and you purchase a subscription once with, for example, CleanChain for a year, which then allows you to utilize the platform, and at the same time it includes your InCheck subscription for 1 year, and then you can renew afterwards. So, but to answer it, yes, it's every year, and it covers that your technical report and the ZDHC InCheck as well.
Great. Yeah, next question is also for you, Vishal. I think we don't get all the buyers in CleanChain. Do you know why, or could you please clarify why?
Yep. So I think would be interested to understand which particular buyers you're looking at, or the steps you're taking in terms of searching for those buyers. Okay, so brands, we work with various brands. If you don't see that on the list, then let us know. It might be that we can give you the steps for that. But if it's a non-ZDHC, whether it's a ZDHC friends or signatories, we might not have that brand on the list. So it would be really important to understand first which is that brand they're working with. So get in touch with myself or our team. We can support you on that one.
Okay, great. The next question, I think also again for you, Vishal. How can we check the VOC? So I think that stands for volatile organic compounds of a certain product on the CleanChain platform.
Yeah, so I mentioned CleanChain regulations dashboard. So if you are already on the CleanChain, if you know, you can just register an account, and if you get the subscription, that's actually included. So let me just give you a quick just how it looks like. Okay, so when you have an STS, you can just upload the STS to your in the CleanChain here. So you can see dashboard regulations. So you actually upload the STS file here, and that will give you results as per all of these different regulations. You can see here further down chemical sort of safer chemical listing, various ones. Then you will able to review the regulatory chemical listings, and you can extract that data. You can see here granular data, generate that report with VOC, ZDHC, solvents, etc. Or if you're looking for the EVC PCRA, for example, or PFAS gas list, you can generate that detailed Excel.
Okay, great. And then next question, I don't know who would like to answer to that. What inputs do we need to add to the tool as a VSF manufacturer with sodium sulfate as a byproduct? How can the tool support us in this?
Okay, I can take that one. So I understand you are a viscose fiber manufacturer, and you would like to understand your applicability for the ZDHC InCheck. And again, it depends on the kind of brands that you are working with, whether your brands have that requirement or not. As a fiber manufacturer, generally you are out of scope of the InCheck requirement, but this would require to be reviewed with the kind of production that you have, and we would need to take a look at your actual working to say a yes or a no out there.
Good, thank you. Next question would be about, I think Ramya, you can answer that. What is the scope of the chemical inventory required for InCheck?
So this is again something that is published into those documents. I had indicated 3 main documents that we are supposed to be aware of. So the performance InCheck document gives you the type of chemicals that you need to actually publish in your InCheck reports. And here you will see, the different types of chemicals that, for example, a facility will have over-the-counter chemicals. It may be cleaning chemicals, it may be sanitizers, it may be chemicals that are used for tooling and equipment, etc. It may be production-related chemicals. So ideally, as a facility, you should be uploading all of your production chemicals definitely. And most of the tools have the facility to also understand and segregate the other chemicals. Like, for example, if you're uploading your commodity chemical, it will segregate it for you. And it will publish to you or to your stakeholders the exact kind of chemicals that are required to be reviewed by your brands. So that is the ability that most of the tools have. And I guess that answers your question on what kind of chemicals should be reported on the InCheck.
Yes, thank you. And we are aware that we are 2 minutes over time already, but we have 3 questions left, so I think we can answer that still. The next question I think would also be for Ramya. MSDS of some of the products show redundant data as not available or not relevant information. Is ZDHC taking steps to ensure that the MSDS uploaded in the platform is accurate and can be used?
Yes, definitely. This is something that ZDHC is already taking a note of and reviewing. So if an MSDS is expired, then basically it would show in the system that it is expired, and there will be the new MSDS which would be coming up pretty soon. So in case you see that it is not up as yet, you can also see what are some of the alternatives that you have, which you might be able to take a look at. But generally, for most of the chemicals which are there, you will see that the MSDS is regularly updated in a certain frequency, and there might only be small lapses till such time as the new MSDS is actually uploaded.
Okay, good. Then again, a question for you, Ramya. We are compliant with ZDHC wastewater, the output requirements, but not yet compliant with input or process. Is that acceptable?
So to be compliant with input, what you would require to do is to have a partner with a tool and upload your chemical inventory so that you are aware as to whether how much of your inventory is actually MRSL compliant. That is what you would require to do. And in terms of process, when you want to understand and be compliant, what you would require to have is a chemical inventory which is maintained at a very minimum at your foundational level. So for your foundational level inventory maintenance, you would require again that you are having all the details of the kind of chemicals that you're purchasing, and that you have a CMS which is implemented. So these are the two main criteria. So you can take steps by signing up to the Supplier to Zero platform. It's a free platform for the suppliers, and once you sign up to the platform, you can go through the questions, upload your information as required, and complete it at least at level 1. So then you are already then compliant with your inputs, and then also with your process, apart from just your outputs.
Good. Yeah, second last question. Vishal, I think you can answer that. Could you please let me know the subscription fees for suppliers and brands using CleanChain once they are registered under the ZDHC guidelines?
Yeah, so if you're already on the ZDHC gateway and wants to look at the InCheck report, then yes, please get in touch with us. So we got various subscription plans available for suppliers, and for brands, we look at what are the requirements. So we have various tools specifically tailored to the brands as well, so that we can support in terms of their monthly or quarterly report requirements. So they are available. What I would recommend to do first thing is to register. That's a free of cost first thing to start with. You can test the platform, how it is, and then get started with the subscription.
Great. And last question, I think that means Supplier to Zero. Is Supplier to Zero level 3 available?
I think that would be to Ramai. I think she did cover
Yes.
in the slides. It's not what I know so far. It's coming soon.
I'm so sorry, I missed the question. I was answering
it's
something,
okay.
Supply
typing in
to
something.
Zero level 3, I think is so it's
Yeah,
still coming soon. I don't
it
know
is. Yeah, it
the
is
date.
coming soon. It's not being published as yet, but it is in the cards, and this is the on-site verification of the Supplier to Zero that a facility would answer, um, uh, as a self-assessment with the tool that they have.
Okay, good. And then we received one final question. Do we need a ZDHC MRSL certificate for housekeeping and non-production chemicals?
No, sorry. Yes, Vishal, please go ahead.
No, that's fine. Please go ahead and I can add.
Okay. Um, So all of your chemicals will get classified into the type of chemicals that you're using, and for the chemicals that are over the counter and cleaning chemicals, etc., you would not require to have the MRSL a requirement, and this would be seen on the tool automatically once you upload your chemicals on the tool.
Yeah, just to add to that one, as long as you, whichever platform you're using, so on the CleanChain, if you're uploading that, you need to make sure you classify that. So if the platform doesn't detect it, so you need to toggle the option to showcase that's a non-production chemical. So you don't necessarily get penalized for uploading that. So that's a step. Sometimes companies miss out. So just be aware you need to toggle that on to indicate you're uploading that non-production chemical.
Great. I did not check the chat. I think we received some additional questions here, correct?
Yeah, I've been trying to answer them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of chat questions I do not know, but I think we could look at any other specific Q&A maybe can be added to the Q&A area.
Yeah, we could send out a separate Q&A Excel, and I think that should answer all of the questions in case something has not yet been answered. So everyone will get the answer and will be aware. And with that, I think we can conclude our session for today. Thank you everyone for being a part of today's session. It's been a privilege to walk all of you through the power and potential of ZDHC InCheck and how it can be a cornerstone in building smarter, safer, and a more transparent chemical management strategy. And from understanding the technical framework, the verification process, etc., and in understanding also the partnership that leadership and sustainability and CleanChain are able to bring you, we hope you feel better equipped to take some actionable steps towards more sustainable chemical compliance progression in your ZDHC journey. We look forward to supporting you, and we look forward to ensuring that there is a positive impact with all of our efforts in the supply chain. Thank you. Thank you very much. And also
Thank you,
Vishal and
Thank you,
Julia.
everyone. Hope that session was helpful. Thank you, Leadership and Sustainability team, Rama and Julia, for inviting me as well. Thank you.